Everybody lives by habits. We have habits of doing certain things in a certain way, and we have habits of not doing certain things in a certain way. So write that down. I have a habit, and I have habits of doing certain things in certain ways, and I have habits of not doing certain things in certain ways. So go ahead and write that down. It's important that you understand this. And as I teach, you're going to learn why these habits have created the results in your life. Now, some of you may not be familiar with the style of teaching that I'm used to. Now, on a stage, I use accelerated learning. I use techniques that allow you to learn faster and remember more. I'm going to be using those here in this teaching as well. That's the style of teaching that I was trained in, but I also know it's the most effective. So at times I'm going to ask you to repeat things, and just repeat them in your mind. You don't have to repeat out loud if you're in a place where you can't do it, but do it. And don't mumble it. Say it with power. Say it with power and remember what it is. So what I want you to do right now is to repeat after me. Say, I have habits. Thank you. Say, I have habits of doing certain things in a certain way. Excellent. And now say, I have habits of not doing certain things in a certain way. Excellent. Every time I ask you to repeat something, I'm going to thank you. I'm going to say good job, or I'm going to say something like that. And then what I want you to do is I want you to get into the habit of a ritual. And the ritual is this. Are you ready? The ritual is congratulations. Pat yourself on the shoulder. Or I might say give yourself a high five. And what you're going to do is you're just going to go like this and say, and I'll give you a statement. So are you guys ready? Give yourself a high five and say, I have great habits. Go ahead. Excellent. And then pat yourself on the shoulder and you're done. Good job. Now, I also teach from notes. So in front of me here is a little music stand, and I have little notes. So every once in a while, I will be glancing down. And I'll usually do that when I ask you to do a high five or pat yourself on the shoulder. So, or ask you to repeat things. So if you see me looking down, it's just, I want to give you the best content, and I just keep little notes in front of me so that I can teach you. We are following a curriculum, and I want to make sure you get it all. Okay, let's talk about the habit again. The first habit that I want you to train yourself to do is this. Are you ready? Say, I'm ready. Excellent. The first habit is I want you to show up and watch the daily module at 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 12:30 noon, or at whatever time zone I'm broadcasting around the world. The secret is this. This show will be broadcast live every day, but it'll also be archived immediately after. So what will happen is, throughout the day, you're going to see this module on the screen, and you'll be able to play it. So once it's finished being broadcast, it will then be archived immediately. And then you'll be able to watch it at any time. So if you want to go back and watch it again, that's great. But I want you to, the most important teaching here is this. Listen carefully. You've got to put it in your calendar to watch this show every day at the same time. So you pick the time that works best for you. I want you to show up at the time when I'm here, 9:30. But if that doesn't work because of your work schedule or whatever else is going on in your life, just show up. Make it a habit to be here for about 20 minutes every day. Now, I'm going to do my best to keep it to 20 minutes. Now, you can stop, you can come back, but I want you to be able to create the habit. This is something that I have discovered is when people watch or take my coaching early in the day, they can apply it throughout the day. They can apply the teaching, apply the learning throughout the day so that they're utilizing it in the day. And what's going to happen is you're going to see things are going to change in your life really quickly because you're empowering your mind. You're putting the right nutrition in your mind. You see, we all put good nutrition in our bodies. Yes or yes? We also we exercise, which is putting good physical energy to work in our body, which empowers us. But why don't we take the time to empower the mind every day? You see, if you create the habit of reading Bob Proctor taught me this. Just create the habit of reading one page of a positive inspirational book every day, or listening to, back then it was a cassette tape, but listening to a DVD or a CD, or download something onto your iTunes. But whatever it is, get in the habit of listening to it. So this web show is another medium for you to empower your mind on a daily basis. Is that making sense? Awesome. Give yourself a high five and say, that makes a whole lot of sense to me. Okay. William Shakespeare. You guys remember him, yes? He said this: there are more things in heaven and earth than are dreamed of by man. There are more things in heaven and earth that are dreamed of by man. What was he really referring to? Here's what he was talking about. There's an abundance of wealth. There's an abundance of energy. There's an abundance of knowledge. There's an abundance of pure air. Deepak Chopra talks about the fact that there's abundance everywhere. There's billions and billions of blades of grass all over the universe. There's trillions of grains of sand. There's I don't know how many gallons of seawater in the oceans. There's enough soil on this earth to feed all of us. You see, we are abundant. There's a lot of air and oxygen in the air that we're abundant with it. In the same way, there's an abundance of happiness, there's an abundance of wealth, there's an abundance of health. The reason is that same blade of grass, that same grains of sands, the water, the air, it is all one thing. And what is it? Energy. And in the same way, all of the energy that makes up the blades of grass, the sand, the water, the air, space, it's all energy. Your energy. Your mind is energy. What emanates from your mind is energy. That energy is known as thought. That thought will ultimately create a physical result. That is the secret to success. But we got to train ourselves to be in the habit. See, many people do it subconsciously. They don't even know it's unconscious competence. They don't even know it's happening. And they're successful. And there's others that are also successful at not having success because they're unconsciously competent at not having success. So all we got to do is change the energy. Good or good? Is that exciting? All right. Give yourself a high five and say, that's exciting. Awesome. Now, let's talk about visualization. How many of you have ever had a daydream? You see, when I was a kid, I'd be sitting in the back of the class and I'd be like, just daydreaming. And I did it a lot. And my teachers used to say, he doesn't pay attention. He doesn't know how to focus. But what I was really doing was I was dreaming of something I wanted to have. Whether it was to be playing hockey, whether it was to be making money, whether it was of the life I was going to live. And I was criticized for being a daydreamer, but what in fact was really happening was I was actually visualizing. And this is a power that I started to work with. There's a gentleman by the name of Dr. Lee Poulos and another gentleman who was one of my early mentors, Leland Van Vanderwall. They taught me the power of visualization. And this visualization became a habit. You see, I was already good at it. All I had to do was utilize it to attract that to which I wanted. And I also started to realize that all of the thoughts and the dreams and everything I ever wanted going back 30, 40 years ago, it ultimately showed up in my life. I manifested it. This web show is a result of manifestation. You see, I thought about this about 3.5, 4 years ago. About 4 years ago. I was actually going to be using it for another purpose, but that didn't materialize. But it's materialized in its present form. And it's beautiful. And technology has now caught up where I can actually do it. And technology is getting better where I can actually be able to do it even in a better way very soon. How cool is that? So everything that you want, listen to this. Pay attention. This is important. Write it down. Please write this down. Everything you want will ultimately happen when you use your mind power and your thoughts in a specific way. The timing may not be exactly what you want. And here's what happened. People will destroy their lives, their visions, their goals because it didn't happen on time. And they'll blame somebody else. Or they'll say, it doesn't work, it's not for me. And they'll get into this. It's a phase of just, it's an unsuccessful pattern. You have to be patient. Things, in my experience, guys, things just never, ever really seem to happen on time. This web show didn't start as I had originally planned. So things don't always work out on time. But when they happen, it's perfect. And when it's there in front of you, that dream home, that $1 million, the child that you've been wanting, the partner that you've been wanting, the candy that you want, it'll all happen at the right time. And when it does, it'll be perfect. And when we can become comfortable with that, we'll have a certain level of patience that will help you just remember it's going to happen. So write that down. Just say, it's going to happen. Go ahead and write it down. Excellent. Now repeat that. Say, it's going to happen. My dreams are going to come true. My goals will be realized. Okay, so one of the secrets to attracting what you want in your life is to visualize. So a lot of this program is going to be referring to this. So visualization is a creative process. What is it, please? Thank you. Say it's a creative process. And it's a creative process to direct energies to what you want. This is based in the quantum physics world, guys. This is not made up personal development woo-woo. It's science. It works. And you've been doing it all your life. You just haven't been conscious of what you're doing. You see, everything that's happened in your life today is a direct result of your thoughts. And your thoughts create an emotion. We call it a feeling. So those thoughts create that emotion. And it's the emotion that's either going to cause us to go into action or not take action. Inspiration or fear. And that action is a result of the feeling, the emotion. So the thought's easy. The emotion either dictates whether we're going to go forward or not. So that's the action. And ultimately, you're going to create the result. So through visualization and the energies you apply to it, I'm going to give you some really cool things to be working with. All of that is going to ultimately result and manifest in your life. If you think the law of attraction is a goofy term, and if you don't believe in it, then you got to start believing in it. Because it works. And why does it work? Because it's the law. The law of attraction. Isn't that cool? Awesome. Give yourself a high five and say, I believe in the law of attraction. So let's talk about the energies that create results. Well, these energies that create the results in your life are the exact same energies that hold all matter together. It's the same energies that hold all matter together. It's the same energy that causes a seed that is planted in the soil to rise up and become a flower or a tree. It's energy. The earth knows what to do. Thought is a seed. Say that. Say thought is a seed. Thank you. Write it down. Thought is a seed. So everything in our universe is energy. We know that, but we forget it. So I want you to remember, every day of your life, you've got to remember that every time you're thinking, you're sending energy out into the ether, and that energy is going to come back in some other form. How you think the positive manifestation or the negative manifestation will result. As I said earlier, everything that I wanted in my life showed up, and everything I didn't want showed up too. So you gotta really be careful with your thoughts. You can utilize thoughts to be an awesome athlete. You can utilize thoughts to be awesome in school. You can utilize thoughts to be wealthy. You can utilize thought to have beautiful relationships. You can utilize them to have unsuccessful relationships. You may have some relationships that are successful over here and some that are not successful over here. Why is that? You see, there's some relationships that we can have where we can keep enough distance with people so they don't really know who we are. We can use our intelligence, our intellect, and all of that to keep those relationships far enough away from us where the emotion isn't there. But the other ones that are where we're closer with, family, kids, partner, spouse, there's a higher level of emotion there. And when that energy isn't in alignment, things start to happen. But you can take any relationship and you can alter it and fix it. And you can make a beautiful relationship with anybody, if both are willing to work on it. You might have a disagreement with somebody, and you can go further apart in disagreement, or you can stop and let's work on this. Let's fix it. What happened? Let's fix it. It's all thought. It's all energy. It's the same thing. So everything in this universe is energy. Humans don't seem to get this. Animals get it. We all know the theory of, when the butterfly flutters its wings, that energy travels around the world. We know that animals can sense when something is going to happen, whether it be an earthquake, whether it's going to be a storm coming in. They know. Their senses are at a higher level. They have to for survival. We don't need that level of sensory because we're comfortable. We had it once, but we're not using it anymore. But we can change that. Say, I can change it. Awesome. So I want you to understand this as well. When we talk about the universe, often we talk about the universe in the spiritual world, and the universe, let's just call it an energy field. So the universe is known as a hologram, and a hologram is when the sum of all parts equal the whole. So when the whole is when the sum of all parts equal the whole. That's what creates a hologram. So everything in the universe that exists has the sum of the whole. It's all parts making up. I'm just a bunch of parts. So are you. So is a car. Have you ever looked at a starfish? A starfish it's one of those sea animals, those sea creatures that we all find fascinating. And what's interesting about a starfish is if you cut off one of the stars, the legs, the appendage, it'll actually grow back. And the reason is because the starfish, within every part of the starfish, there's an imprint of the entire starfish. So that imprint allows it to grow back. If it's lost something, it can recreate it. How cool is that? This is what's so fascinating about our world. So we as humans have got to start tapping into these energetic forces. That the universe is a powerful energetic force and we are part of it. So let's utilize it. Now, if you're still new to this kind of information, just go along and trust it for a while. All I can do is teach from my experience. And my experience is that my thoughts create my reality. And that's all I know. And I've ventured out to study it, to understand it at a higher level, and I teach it at a higher level. In fact, I have a course that I teach that it's a manifestation course that allows you to actually exist in the realm of what you want, thereby attracting it to you even more. How cool is that? So, I'll be telling you about that course. It's pretty awesome. Now, let's talk about your thoughts again. I'd like you to think of your thought as a bridge. So the thought is like the bridge that creates the ultimate result, the matter. So, your thoughts create the bridge to where you want to go, keeping in mind emotion and action, but ultimately that bridge is going to get you to your reality. It's been happening all your life. You just didn't maybe perhaps look at it that way. Good or good? Okay, let's bring this teaching to a close. Here's what I want you to think about all day. This is your homework. My homework is about using your mind. It's not about writing things and doing a lot of exercises. We will do some of that, but I want you to think. An image, and write this down please, an image held in your mind will be made real. An image held in your mind will be made real. About 25 years ago, I was traveling in France, and I was on a train. And I saw this beautiful French country home sitting in a vineyard. And I looked at that home and I thought, I want to own a home like that. I want to own a home like that one day, on a vineyard, at French country style. It appealed to me. And I put that thought in my mind, and that became the seed. And I often thought about that. And I traveled to other parts of the world over the years. I went to Napa, Sonoma, and the Okanagan Valley in Canada. And every time I was in a place where there were vineyards in Australia, and I would imagine, I'd always remember that house in that vineyard in France. And there was always this reminder. And so what happened is that seed was just germinating all the time. And what happened was one day I actually drove up to a little property in the Okanagan Valley. I walk up into this property and I'm standing over this beautiful property overlooking a vineyard. And down below is this beautiful home in the middle of the vineyard. And I had the opportunity to buy that property right then. And I imagined just building that French country home. And in 2005, I built that home. Now, manifestation. It all came together. French country home sitting on a vineyard in the Okanagan Valley in Kelowna. It manifested. Now, all I can say is that your thoughts do create reality. And I'm going to teach you how to make it a habit. What's the word? Thank you. Make it a habit to do this on a regular basis. So whether you want something or don't want something, it's going to happen in your life. So you have to learn how to train your mind so that everything comes into reality. So if you have big goals, your thinking will create the result. If you have fears, your thinking will create the result. If you have doubts, your thinking will create the result. If you have worries, your thinking will create the results. If you have big dreams and you want to make a lot of money and you want to have a great relationship and you want to be totally healthy and fit, your thinking is going to create the result. This is how you're going to manifest everything you want. From now on, I'd like you to use these words. I will have. I will have. And then talk about what you're going to have. Okay, so tomorrow we're going to take this to the next step and we're going to be talking about some more techniques to start attracting that to which you want in your life. And we're going to learn all about the conscious mind and the subconscious mind and how everything works together. And it's going to be an extraordinary month. So 20 minutes a day, guys. Just check in, watch it, get the information, and by the end of the month, you're going to have some more information, an amazing amount of information that's going to help you achieve the success you want in your life. And then what's going to happen is we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about health, and we're going to talk about relationships in other courses, but this mindset mastery is the foundation. You must have this foundation in order for me to be more effective to help you to attract more money in your life, better relationships, better health, better in sports, whatever it is you want to have. Your mind is extremely powerful. I'm also going to teach you about the heart. And that'll be part of this learning this month as well. Your heart is the power center. Your heart is where you want to go. You use your mind to direct energies to what your heart desires. Woo! Isn't that awesome? I love it. Hey guys, I'm wishing you an awesome day. Thank you for tuning in. This is the inaugural launch of KieronTV.com. This is the beginning of what is going to become a huge global platform. And I'm so thankful that you're part of the first people to join this. And we are all going to have an amazing journey together. So have an awesome day. And remember, refer people as well. Recommend your friends, get involved, and awesome things will start to happen in your life because of that as well. So have an awesome day, guys. Thank you for being here, and we'll see you tomorrow.